Check, 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 check. Let me disable streamer mode. It truncates names. What's up, Laz? How are you? Has it been a while? I feel like we just saw each other a few days ago. This is in here. 8 ball. What's up? What's up? Gratitude, Laz. Sleepwalker. Kate. I know you. What's good? I'm good. I took the day off. There was one trade I kind of missed. I regretted not sticking around for. The day looked like it was going to be complete shit. And then I got rid of the 12-hour. We had a 12-hour trigger about up here on this. Let's go to and Q. We'll pull it up really quick here. We don't have much time. So there was a 12-hour inside bar that I was watching here at, let's call it, what's the high here? 23. Did I get it? 32 is a little bit off. So about right here. So triggered the 12-hour, pulled back, held the daily open. This is the daily open, this blue line right here. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. Right here. Held the daily open, triggered, held daily open, and then we got a opportunity to get back in here for a nice push up. But by 11:30 here, I was done. I was done back at like 10. I, I saw all this off the open here. This, this, nope, not for me. We had an inside day at the time. So I just wasn't going to mess with it. I'm being super picky after a 7-day losing streak, which is the longest losing streak that I've had. But my XFAs are still hanging on, and I do have 3 new ones. They reset my stuff here, yeah. But I got three new combines that I started. The ones I had last night that were 50% past, I blew up, tilted. I was pretty upset with myself about that, but it's okay. I just reset them and then smashed 1500 into each, and then was called it good. So I'm gonna be picky about trading my funded accounts because I only have about 2 days of trading. Right, I've got a $631 balance, so I'm gonna split that in half. Call it about 310 per day on daily loss limit on those. If I blow that up, that'll be the end of that account. And that's the longest that I've held a funded account here. You can see, is it this one? No. Why is it listed as backup now? What's going on here, guys? There we go. So started out really strong, then mostly focused on just getting $200 days. I did get $5,500 out of this account, but the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days have not been great. But the reason it's not blown is because I have a daily loss limit. So 350, 350, 350, cut myself off early here, 350, 350, cut myself off early last night. Would have been a great trade, but it was okay. I was watching Yellowstone, also trying to trade from my phone. Not ideal. Um, took the L, and then the trade went. Kind of hard to trade when I'm only looking at one time frame, but so I'm not, I'm not crying over here. I'm pretty happy about mostly sticking to my daily loss limit is the reason that I've been able to, get money out of these accounts, not go on tilt. And so for me, like that's the most important thing. And then, I can always start some new combines, get some new XFAs. It only takes 1 or 2 good trades, as I just showed you on my first week in this XFA. I think it was 3 trading days, was 8 grand. So I missed a huge trade the other night, $8,000 to $12,000. I posted about it on Twitter. I was in a position. I was full port, 2 minis, 20 micros, and I just didn't stick to the plan. The plan was 380. I did not stick to the plan, and then we got the China tariff news candle, which dumped it down to about 240. So minimum, if I just took profit at target, would have been 8 grand. If I had taken partial and left some, could have been as much as 12. So that is a friendly reminder that it only takes one good trade to have a great day and to have a great week or a great month. So I'm not going to burn my last 600 bucks here on this one XFA. The other I've got about 800, I think. Let's take a look. Always transparent with you guys about what I'm up to here. So I got 895 max loss limit minus 895, and I got a balance of 43. So just over $900 in drawdown in this account. So not doing too bad. See what stats look like on this one. A $1,100 day to start, and then I've hit daily loss limit 3 days in a row. I did not trade this yesterday. Was this Wednesday? Yeah. Today is technically into Thursday. So I have not messed with this. So about break even in the account, but yeah, because of trailing drawdown. Got about 900, so plenty to work with. And like I said, I got some combines. Trying to keep XFAs like always available to activate if I need to. That's starting to look at this as a how much money did I put in this month? How much money did I take out? Right? If that means I spend 3,000 on resets and XFAs, but I'm getting 10,000 out, that's a $7,000 win. That's a net positive month. Not get too hung up on the nitty gritty details. Look at things bigger picture. Obviously, I want to hold on to these accounts as long as possible, but the reality is, it's trading is tough. I don't know if anybody has made that clear, but I'm here to tell you, it's a tricky business. Requires a ton of discipline, and I feel like I've kind of gotten over the hurdle of revenge trading. Like I've locked my risk settings at my daily loss limit, and as far as like not revenge trading, I've been doing well with that. So I have to look at that as a win, because for since I started prop trading in July, it's been a disaster. July, August, September, October, November, December. A lot of getting XFAs to $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and then blowing them in 30 minutes, 60 minutes. Going from down 300 and then not walking away to down 600 to down 900 to then we're, full porting, trying to recover those losses and get smacked. And I haven't done that. So, I look at that as a win. It's not really like where I want to be, but that's where I am, and so I got to deal with the reality of the situation. Is this is where we're at. 2 years ago, I shared with somebody on Twitter who was talking about comparing themselves to some of these traders you see who are putting up $10,000-$20,000 days, huge days, 4 or 5 figure days. Somebody was just moved to Top Step live trading with a $600,000 balance. They were trading 5 XFAs. They put in, I think, like 125K each. Top Step adjusted rules a little bit for them. And yeah, I mean, and I think like under 10 trading days. So I want to, I look at that and I'm like, well, shit, I want 600 grand in a live account. But I don't know what their story is. I don't know how long they've been trading. I can't compare myself to other traders. I can compare myself to where I was at 2 years ago when I was happy to be green, when I was first learning the strat, and a $20 day, win was progress. Right now, I don't really get too excited if I'm making under 500. 500 to 1,000 is like acceptable. We have to compare ourselves to where we were at on our own journey, 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 2 years ago, not against somebody who's potentially been in the game for 10 years, right? Anybody who's been playing the piano for 10 years and you're just starting, you're 6 months into playing the piano, you're going to sound like shit compared to them. That's just the way it is, right? And you're not like stomping your feet like, why can't I figure this out? No, you're like, well, they've been doing it for, 20 times as long as I have. What's up, Busy? Green Day, how are you? Revealing the story of your trading life. I think we all can relate. I mean, that's been my story. Like it's only me out here, right? I got to compare myself to where I was at earlier in my trading. Am I improving? Yes. Am I sticking to my rules more so than ever? Yes. That's that's measurable progress. Got payouts. Check. Kept the account for more than a week. Check. Doesn't always look like going from no payouts to Lambo or Rolex or Uncle Scrooge swimming in his money pit. If you don't know about Uncle Scrooge, Google him. Cartoon from way back. Scrooge McDuck, pimp daddy. We got to look at like how far we've come. Small little improvements over a long period of time add up, and that's the mindset that I'm trying to stick to, and that's why I haven't really, I didn't trade the day after I missed that big winner. I just took the day off, and then today I looked at the market early in the morning, didn't like what I saw, and I just decided, let's not force things. I don't have a lot of room to work with on XFAs. I'm gonna wait for the trading opportunities like I had when I first started this XFA. There was a great setup. It was an hourly to trigger a 12-hour setup short, and it just dumped 300 points. And that's why I walked away with, $5,400 that morning. And then I had another great day. And so it's not that it's me, it could be me, it could be market conditions, but the best thing I can do for myself is to buy time and wait for better setups, better market conditions, maybe my mind to get in the right space, not blow the accounts up. That's job number one. So with all that being said, we're doing nothing here. There's nothing I like about the open. Potential 322 on the hourly, but right here, 3 2 up, potential 2 down, but we're fighting a lot of continuity to the upside. And there's just literally nothing else. It's daily continuation, weekly inside bar, 12-hour inside, 4-hour inside, and that's it. I kind of didn't even want to stream, but it's good for me mentally to I get to vent and like yell this stuff out into the interwebs. Hopefully somebody else can relate. It's my trading therapy. Otherwise, this shit rattles around in my head. I get super angry, and then like that's my default kind of mode is wanting to be angry about shit, and it's not productive in any way. So yeah, Globex. I mean, the Open has been difficult. They're just and it's hard for me not to say like, what am I missing? What am I doing wrong? I'm not really not doing anything wrong or different. Maybe I stopped trading as aggressively as I was, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I know my focus was on extracting money out of an account with $8,000 in it. Like, am I going to try for another 8 grand, or am I going to try and hit the $200 days so I can pull as much out of that as I can? I left myself a $2,000 balance. It was up to 2,600, and I had a streak of losing days. That's how that's the game, man. This is the game we play. So it's not like I did anything wrong. I did not follow rules the other night, so I missed a huge opportunity. And I try and walk away from that. Like, what could I have done differently? What did I learn from that experience? and what can I do to be a better trader moving forward. That's that's my take on it. But I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it stings. It stings bad. It. I'm the type of person I like to win. It doesn't matter what it is. Give me a card game. Give me, I don't know, my for what was it? Thanksgiving, I guess, when I first got to my family's in Jersey here, where I've been the last, I don't know, since early November, just kind of hanging out. We played some, I don't know, some the hell was the name of the game? I don't know, man. It was some game where you got to put like blocks to, I don't want to call them. They were like, oh God, my brain is not working like it should. Hold on, pause. It's gonna bug me if I can't figure this out. I'm not gonna be able to find it out quickly. I thought I could find out what the name of it was called, but anyway, there's some tiles that you arrange together, whatever. I had never played the game, and I won 3 games in a row, and I just was like, ready to throw my hat across the room, like, yes, I have arrived. I am the greatest. That's how I function when presented with a challenge. So, that's I like to win. And in trading, sometimes we just can't win. It's doesn't mean that we're bad players. Maybe we're having an off day. Maybe the market's just not cooperating. But if it is ping pong, horseshoes, card game, board game, thumb wrestling, I want to win. I like to win. I feel like that has served me well in my life. And, sometimes it's not the best approach, but, for me, it's worked. I do get obsessive, but I feel like if you want to be good, if you want to get really good at something, you have to be obsessive about it for a period of time. And then, I mean, if you're still obsessing 5, 10 years into doing this, like at some point you need to dial it back. And I feel like, I mean, this is just, all of this is just my opinion. It doesn't really mean shit. But I expect that at some point I will be very comfortable. It will become very easy for me to recognize when I'm going off the rails, when the market is, in a good place, when I'm in the zone where I want to get aggressive, and then when I want to dial it back and say I'm going to take today off. I just don't like it, right? I don't like, inside day. It was an inside day doji. I mean, we were basically stuck at the open in an inside bar, so we weren't even like heading in one direction or another. Now we eventually, the market started moving bullish, but until that happens, like I had no reason to be there, and I can't look back and say, well, I should have sat here for 4 or 5 hours waiting for that because it may have never happened. It ended up happening shortly after I got off the computer, but it's like whatever. We can't be stuck at the screens all the time. We're just not going to catch every trade. Laz, I've shared the only indicators that I use are these that marks the opens, the high, the low, the close, and I think it's pinned in like funded chat channel. Then the other is just a strat. You can find any strat indicator. I label the ones and the threes. Those are the only candles I care about that have any significance. I know the rest are either directional. The rest are directional candles. It's either a two up or two down, and I can look at them and see what they are. Two up, two down. Here, two up, broke the high. Two up, two down, broke the low. Two up, broke the high. This broke the low and went outside bar. So outside bars are broadening formations. We care about those. Two up, broke the high. I think this broke the low. It had to have, or it would be labeled an inside bar. This red candle that I circled poorly. I need to learn these little hotkeys here. I think B is brush tool. What is L is line and R is rectangle. So hey, I can highlight things a little bit better. Yeah, so we broke the low. I mean, I don't really care. Two up or two down is like everything else. I want to quickly spot inside bars and outside bars. But if you can't find it in funded chat, tag me. It should definitely be pinned. I've shared it like a ton of times. And really, I think maybe to start off, you should probably be just manually marking. I know it's kind of a pain in the ass, but as a new like strat trader, I think there's benefit in you marking um the monthly, the quarterly, the weekly, and the daily open. You only have to move the weekly once a week. You only have to move the daily every day. And that's basically, I do something similar here on these charts where I mark the week, right? I move my daily lines, which I did earlier. I have a daily open. Let's get rid of some shit that's going to be confusing. Let's move this daily open to where we actually were. What was the daily open here on NQ? 764.50. So 764.50. It's one of those things that you don't have to do a whole lot and you'll get some practice in paying attention to those levels more. But you can use the script that I threw together. It's just makes it easier. But that's the only thing I would use, that and some strat indicator that labels the inside and outside bars. Busy says yes, tough week here. 2 days hitting DLL, adjusting my trading times. Yeah, we need to, I feel like maybe I should have scaled back or taken a break earlier. After maybe like 3 losing days, and I was thinking about updating my rules where if I've got 3 losing days in a row, maybe take a day off or lower my personal daily loss limit, or mentally just say, hey, okay, we need to be super picky on the next trade. Can't just be about trying to make money real quick. Thinking about what account I want to trade here. I don't think I'm going to trade in a funded account because I don't like anything at all about the charts right now, like at all. But that doesn't necessarily mean I won't trade anything. I'll just trade a combine that I care less about and maybe, not copy trade all three like I did yesterday. Just be a little more conservative. I didn't copy trade these three accounts yesterday to get 1,500 in each. I just quickly switched between them and it was fine. So I don't need to makes things a little easier, but when there's not a great setup, it's kind of hard to justify like copying across three accounts. Like one account, if I blow it up, it's not a big deal. Blowing up two or three, now we're talking $300 that I'm in, right? 50, 50, 50 for each. Blow them, reset, another 50 each. There's $300. I know some traders who are only taking 2 or 3 trades a month, and thinking about that used to be so difficult for me to be like, how do you have the patience to sit and wait? And now I feel like I'm a little bit in that mindset where if there's not a great setup, I just don't. I mean, why bother? Why why do that to myself, right? Why give back money? Why not just wait and then get aggressive, right? Save up 3 or 4 days of trading and then really go after it in a way that I ordinarily wouldn't when the setup is there, like scaling quickly. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but we got to take a shot when things are. For me, I talk about it all the time. It's when the chart is like screaming at me, "Oh my god, this is a banger trade." I look at charts and I don't see that. I'm like, nah, it's like NQ opening inside 4 hour. We are trying to get over the daily open here, so we could potentially go outside hour. I don't think that's going to happen because there's a lot of work to be done here, but we are, I'm debating trading this red to green move if we can get maybe back over the high, maybe jump in a little starter position. Right, we broke this side. Bears failed to get anything going. There's no sellers did not show up. And now we are flipping continuity back to green across the board. The 15, the 30, the 60, the 4 hour. As long as we're above the daily open, take a shot at her here on a combine. Gonna give myself a lot of wiggle room. We got an inside and a failed 2 down on the 30, right? So this has potential outside bar written all over it. Worth taking a stab. At least keep me interested, focused on the charts a bit instead of just yapping. See if we can get something going with a red to green. Anybody trade today? How'd you guys do? Green, red? Let me pull up YouTube chat because I ignored Katie yesterday. I saw it after the fact. Live. Boom. Mute. Nate, what's up, bud? Wishing you the best this evening, he said. Thank you very much. Jenga, maybe? No, it wasn't Jenga. It was a tile game where it was kind of like dice, but not. It was a very cool game. It was true. You really had to think. It reminded me so much of trading, where you've got to kind of plan out the next few moves, and you can rearrange tiles a couple different ways, and you can steal shit. And it was like it's my type of game. Like those games where you really got to do some thinking. You try and like end with you try and end with no tiles in your hand or on your. Oh yeah, I'm gonna text my brother and see what that game was called. What else do I gotta do, right? Just chatting with you guys. See if I can figure out what this is called. If you guys want a fun game to play, I highly recommend it. Hold up. Let's see. All right, message sent. Come on, man. I tried to add more here. Why is my hot? I hate. There's a bug in Top Step where hotkeys stop working. Again, quick side note: I don't trade combines the same way as XFAs. So if you're like, what is, if there's any confusion about it, yeah, I trade more aggressively. I trade more size. I'm looking to pass these as quickly as possible. Don't follow me. Not financial advice, etc., etc. See if we get the outside 30, or we set up the potential 222 on the 60. We'll see. As long as it stays like above the daily open, I've got some confidence this is going to play out. If it doesn't, well, that's what we got to stop for. Nope, non dominoes. I bet ChatGPT would know. I just don't even know what to ask because I don't remember exactly. I don't remember if he had to line up symbols or numbers. It was like tiles with numbers, but they're colored. And you can sort them in groups or numerical order. You can sort them by color or by numerical. Oh, let's see. I got my whole family working on this. Rummikub. What the? Hold up. I knew it was a weird name. There's no chance in hell I was going to remember. Rummikub. Anybody ever heard of this? Yeah, Rummikub. Check it out. It's a good, if you like kind of, a little like, got to think ahead and you can steal shit from people and kind of like just dominate the game with a couple moves, you know? Like it gets to your turn, you're all excited because you've plotted out the next six things that you want to do and how you're going to win the game. Yeah, Rummikub. They could have come up with a better name, but Jesus. It is a good game. If you guys are in the market for board games, highly recommend it. Let me get back to NQ. We got a flip, a little 30-minute flip here. Order filled. I don't want my entry like at the daily open, so add a little bit, but inside 5:15:30. So be careful. I want my stop like here. How many points is this? 749. That's kind of more than I. It's about 15 points. That's a lot for me during this session. Maybe I'll tighten it up right here. 250. I can deal with that. But need some bullish momentum back to the upside. Not getting it at all. They're going to try and take my NQs. I was almost going to trade a practice account, but I'm just not going to do that. For me, there's no, I don't get any value in that. I'd rather trade a combine and take like a $250 loss on just than trade an account that I don't know, doesn't work for me. Here's where I add if I'm close to stopping out a little bit, get my entry price down. It doesn't add a whole lot of risk. I mean, it's basically a point or two, and stopped on that. And the 60-minute to the downside, trying to retrigger. Where's the 60 at right here? I just don't like a whole lot here. See if they get a new low a day. Close to doing it. Let's mark this 60. I'm going to mark the 60 low. I mean, I just don't see a good case for the short, like right this second. I don't know. It's just me. But we are inside 4 hour, which is very close to putting that on my list of like, just don't trade the inside 4 hour. Inside 60, I definitely won't trade. Inside 60 and 4 hour is, I just close up shop. The 4 hour inside bar, I'll try and take occasionally, but usually it does me dirty. It's kind of not worth it. I think next week should be interesting. Where if we close near the high of this inside week, so here's NQ. We're still inside month. We just opened though, but we got this inside week. We're up near the highs, so we'll be. The only thing about I like a push back up to all time highs if we close up near the highs here. The only problem is headline risk with Trump presidency. It's been a little crazy. The market has been pretty resilient, though, I would say. Along here, but I feel like it's kind of gambly. I'm not going to do what I did last night and just take a bunch of trades. I'm going to just force myself to be a little patient. As I said when I started, there was Really nothing I liked about the charts at all. I kind of wasn't even going to stream, but I do like doing it. Win, lose, or draw, right? I don't really care. If you guys don't think I'm a good trader, that's fine. I don't think I'm the best trader. I'm here trying to make money. So sellers unable to make a new low a day. The other thing I was thinking about doing is waiting until the first hour after Globex open because it seems to me like the best setups that I've had is are usually there have been a couple when when Globex open when there are hourly and 4 hour setups and we open and those trigger like those can be good. I've done really well on those trades. But the next best time for me is usually on the first hourly flip after we've established the what profile traders call the initial balance. So the first hour of trading, that range, and then we're looking to see how price reacts either above or below. So that's something I might do in the future. It depends. We'll see. I'm gonna give it a bit, a week or two or three. But if it continues to be boring, I'm just not gonna. I'd rather like do anything else. Maybe sleep, take a nap, watch TV, eat some dinner, and then hop on when there are better setups. Like last night after I was off stream is when the market was finally moving and I was able to put some money into some accounts. So that's something I've thought about. There are a million other people streaming New York Open, so I'm not really interested in doing that. Maybe at some point in the future, but I don't know. There's it's other people got that covered. You'd see again, let's see, here's whoops, that's not what I want. We're just stuck in this little opening range, and this is only 18 points, 20 points at most, 20-point range from the highs to the lows. Not a lot to work with. Yeah, I kind of agree, Paul. Like, let's get the first, at least lately, it feels like the last couple weeks that I've been doing Globex, I'm not prior to that, I've done really well off the open. Like the first, usually 30, 40, 50 minutes, I'm able to make some kind of money. There was some trade set up. But again, it's usually when I look at the charts and I'm like, oh, this is going to be, this open is going to be good, right? There's some setups here to take. I like when we close and we got an inside 4 hour, or inside hour, inside 4 hour into Globex. Then I know we can get things can get juicy, but it hasn't been that way. So I'm thinking like let the first hour play out, right? Let's get an hourly candle in there that we can trade off of if there's no setup to for the open and see how things go. Even the weekend where we had deep seek news, I think it was two not this past Sunday, the Sunday before. The first hour was there was selling, but it wasn't like crazy dumping. And then after I ended the stream, I took some trades that where I think I put $1,800 into XFAs. Like that's when things really started getting moving. That's the other thing. T. Rosal just shared a chart of NDX monthly options, open interest and strikes, and I want to start looking at. I think I'm gonna explore, put some time to looking at like the GEX levels, gamma exposure, and potentially where the if you go to CME's website, they'll show you where the options on futures are. Where you've got Deanna last night, which she's a Top Step. She does a Top Step TV kind of segment for London Open, about an hour and a half after London opens. It's at 4:30 a.m. Eastern. She's great. Highly recommend listening to her. She's got solid trading advice in general, just talking about risk management and I mean all things related to trading, regardless of whether you trade her strategy. I don't trade the way she does, but I find so much value just in what she has to say and point out things that are kind of obvious, but someone like me needs to hear about just position sizing and um all of it. I mean, you can go and listen to it. But she was looking at gold last night, and somebody was asking about gold, and she said that there were calls up at the 2,900 level. And if we look at gold, I looked at it this morning. We hit 2,906, right? Got that level and then sold off. So if you don't have, we're at all time highs. You don't have really a target overhead to look at. But if you look at where the big boys are positioned, that was a good area just to pay attention to, right? You don't have to take any trades off it. You don't have to do anything with the knowledge, but stick it on your chart, see how things react when we get there, right? Anybody who had $2,900 calls made their money, probably sold, and then the market dumped. Like got what they wanted, they exited their positions, and that was that. So just good to know about those. I mean, everything is an area of interest, right? There's no, we're not. Yes, we're looking at we mark the highs and the lows, and we're looking for breaks as stratters when those candles kind of trigger. But there are other like the daily open for me, daily, weekly, monthly open, the open in general, which is important for time frame continuity, matters. And I showed you guys earlier where the daily open yesterday, we got, I think it was right here, we basically chopped around at the daily open and then we back tested, held, and went up. And last night, there was a, I think it was right up in here. We actually sold off, came back tested the daily open, went just above it, and then sold. So am I taking trades just off of that? Not usually, but I want those marked on the charts because if I start to notice over and over, which me and there's one of my trading buddies that I DM with regularly, he's in South Africa. He messages me. He's usually up during the overnight session. We are constantly, he's constantly, I've mentioned the daily opens to him and he's been pointing them out to me ever since. It's an area that we pay attention to. So just like the GEX levels or anything else that we might use in trading, they're just extra tools that we can add to the toolbox and see how they play out. And if you start to notice a pattern, then maybe pay more attention to it and then start to take trades off of it or experiment with it. Daily open was right at that big open interest level. Yeah, I gotta look into this a little bit more. I want to use every tool that I can possibly find to improve my trading, right? And if I'm a strat trader first, but anything else that may help me improve, I'm gonna look at. Trying to get the 30-minute triggering up here. We only got 12 minutes left in that candle, but we are back above the daily open. Still kind of chopping around here, so I'm not kind of convinced. We did get a new high day here. See if see if this gets going anywhere. Hourly flip in just under 12 minutes. Yeah, it makes sense for me to use whatever tools I can. I know like Elaine, for example, is looking at ADR, right? We want to know average daily range of the candles over the last whatever it is, 7 or 14 days, or 7 or 14 periods, I should say, because on a 5 minute, you're looking back 14 5 minute candles. On a daily, you're looking back, 14. I think that's the default setting, would be 14 daily candles. So a 14 period look back, and that gives you the average candle range, right? And if we are up against the average, the candle has already moved the average that it moves over the last 14 periods, it's somewhere you might want to say, hey, like I might want to take profit here, or I might want to look to potentially short or long. I might want to get out of my position or switch bias because it would be unusual for it to go a whole lot further, right? So I like to listen. I like to look at other strategies that are working for other traders and see what they're doing that I might be able to use, and then just if there's nothing I'm interested in, fine, I'll just leave whatever I don't care about, and the things that start to kind of click for me or make sense or that I see are working over and over. If I mark those levels on my charts and I'm like, oh hey, here we are again, back to the daily open, we get a reaction off of it. Yep, here's the weekly open, we get a reaction off of it. Okay, mental note, let's pay attention to these. They might mean something to somebody. Little irritated because I was gonna set my stop at the daily low. I wasn't willing to take another $50 of risk, and instead I would have been back in the green here. But live and learn. Hindsight, it's easy to say could have, should have, would have, but was what I was thinking looking at the charts. Like if they can't make a new low a day and things, we've got continuity to the upside. I prefer bullish trades. If they can't make a new low, then I think we kind of at least get back to where my entry was. 30-minute rev strat in force, but back to the trigger. Q. Here's the 30-minute. So we want to kind of target up here, but running out of time. And I'm just not a fan of. I mean, again, we're inside 4 hours, so it's just not ideal. There's not these aren't ideal setups for me. If you're kind of scalping this, I guess and you're doing okay, that's amazing. The other thing I've noticed is trading these ranges here. Whoops, that's a terrible drawing. But when we are inside bar, I've started to zoom in and look here, right? For these areas where price is reversing, price is reversing, price is reversing, price is reversing, prices. And there are plenty of people, this is how they trade. I know I know a number of traders in Top Step Discord they're also on Twitter. I talk to them pretty regularly just to, congratulate them and ask questions about how they're trading, and they share their charts. Who are just they're trading these ranges. They're range traders. That's their strategy, right? And until we break out of this range, which we will eventually, but until it stops working, like if you had longed, now you kind of need a couple touches here to get this to have some confidence, right? So let's say you didn't trade this initial, but down here you long this, you sell up back up near the top here, you short, you're scalping. Some people are scalping 20, this is 20 points. On a mini that's $400, right? Long, short. Down here you long, close your position, maybe short, and just bank the money. I mean, it's happening. I see it happening. So I'm looking for other ways that I can trade where, there's not a strat setup, but there's some other way of making money off of that price action. Where we typically want to avoid inside bars, but what if we don't have to avoid inside bars? We just have to trade them differently. Start to see things enough times, you're like, huh, I don't know, let me look into it. And yeah, eventually the reason that I haven't experimented a lot is because I get freaked out that we are going to break out of this range, but sometimes that range just keeps going. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And then when I finally give in and I'm like, all right, I'm going to finally make attempt after price has done, we've come down. Whoops. Let's see. L. Nope. B brush, right? This. Right down here, I'm like, all right, let's long. And then it breaks down. And I'm like, what the I'm always scared of that happening. And it's going to happen at some point. That's why we have stops. Like they're trying to push this higher. We'll see if they get anywhere. 5 minutes until the flip. I might try long on the hourly if we got a two down green hammer on the 60. So unlikely outside bar, but I did mention, as long as we stay green, which we didn't, we did push back down, but we did flip this back green, and we can get a little push higher. Will be a proper hammer candle. Right now, it's just hammer candle-ish. I use that word a lot. Hammer candle-esque. When we break this high, we could get a compound outside bar back up to here. I think I'm gonna start kind of making some notes here in this notebook that I haven't used in. Let's see when the last date that I actually wrote something down in my trading journal. It's probably embarrassing. It's not as bad as I thought, but it's pretty bad. 12/15, December 15th. I hate writing, man. I hate journaling. It was suggested to me in rehab when I was struggling with drug addiction. Journal, journal, journal. Like, okay, I'd rather poke my eyes out with a fork, but it is helpful. I just don't like doing it. But I think I'm going to start just taking some notes on like the first hour Globex versus, what the setup is after the first hour. Because there are a lot of people that I know who are traders who don't trade they don't trade the initial balance range. They let the market open, wait, for an hour or so. New York open, they don't trade until 10:30. They wait for that first hourly candle to form, first two 30-minute candles, and then they're trading. They're using that as a guide to enter trades after, and they seem to do really well. I mean, or it works for them, I should say. I guess doing well is all relative, but so I'm like, hey, let me think about that. Let me see how that might factor in. Does that make sense for me to do or no? Today, New York Open was the first. Let's see the first hour. So that was the first hour of trading, which was a choppy mess. And then once we finally, they made an attempt to take it over the highs here, pulled back. This was a nice 5-minute hammer candle that set up. But once we got over the highs here, we got some follow through. So anybody who made an attempt here, maybe you took a shot, an initial, you took a crack at it right here, didn't work. You took a crack at it right here and it worked. So this made up for this loss. Flip in 10 seconds. Let's see, maybe take one more trade here. If we get the 60 to break up, take a shot. Let's mark it.
Order filled. Order filled.
Triggered. I got in a smidge early. And this is either going to work or it's not. And I'm gonna hop off and go find some food. Keep an eye on it. But I got no reason to doubt Bulls at this point. Like they had a chance to kind of make a new low a day and get things moving to the downside and just didn't, couldn't. So I'm quick to flip teams and go with the winners. I didn't mean to do that, but it's okay. Sometimes I feel like I should switch my hotkeys. I mean, I use the arrow keys, they're convenient, but occasionally I accidentally press them. So just don't know what I would switch it to. Maybe that numeric keypad on my keyboard. Anybody have one of those? The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in a square that you almost never use, or I never use. There we go. See if we can take yesterday's high would be really nice. Tighten on my stop a little bit. Still giving it some room here to work. So 2 down hammers, man. 2 down green hammers. Love them. Where are we at? Look at this. I mentioned this was hammer like. We as close to a hammer as you know. We gotta have a little flexibility here. Picture perfect, but as close as we're gonna get. We take the high. You know, it's a trade. I gotta take it every time. So back to break even. We'll see if this just keeps going. So maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the hourly flip. I mean, there's good evidence right here. You can see we had the flip at the first flip right here, and we finally got some movement. Broke out of this chop. Maybe that's the way to do it going forward, right? Not take a bunch of shitty little trades off the open unless there's something, like I have flexibility. I could just start streaming earlier if something looks good, and if not, just wait for the first hour. Because this is what I live for, right? When we're getting some movement here, even if I'm wrong, at least price is moving. Gives me an opportunity. When things are just stuck sideways, we're I heard Deanna say last night it's one of her mental triggers is when price is not moving. You're just like, oh my God, will you do something? Like I can relate to that. That makes sense to me. She was saying how, she was in a queue, these British people, a line, right, waiting at the post office, and there was a woman in front of her going like, she was like, what a waste of energy. Just look at the trees, look outside, find some view, listen to some music, just chill out. There's nothing you can do about it. And that for me just hit home because I can get that way. Trading is like that sometimes where you're like, will you just do something? And it really is a waste of energy. It's like just walk away, go do something else, right? Set an alert. Break even my stop here. Don't want it to come back. Did hit target on the hourly, so that was the daily high. So did its job. Maybe smart to partial some, but I'm okay just kind of letting this chill. I think I'm better off just letting it run, looking for ad opportunities and just trying to get another XFA banked. So we'll see. Hopefully the buyers keep pushing here. But we did have a nice. I didn't catch this, but we had a nice. If you look on the 5 minute chart here, right before the flip, inside bar, bang. So 5 to trigger the 60 little domino trade. That's what we like to see. Thanks, AK. Sometimes they're like, the hard part is waiting for, like off the open, there was nothing that I liked. All right, I made an attempt on a trade, the long. It didn't work at that time. And, there wasn't really anything else to go after. We had the 30-minute rev strat that broke, but we were running out of time on. And the next best trade was waiting for the 60. And the 60 triggered. It went. It worked. Took no heat really on that trade, right? Very little drawdown. And those are the best trades, the ones that just go right away. Like if you find yourself struggling or fighting with a trade, it's probably not the best trade to be in. Another little push up here, and I'll probably move my stop right under these lows if this keeps going. I might push this up a little bit here at least. If I stop out, I will chip away a little bit at this $300 in the red, but I kind of want to let this play out. Like if I stop out, I'm fine with it. I've debated sometimes just going bigger position size and catching, like especially during overnight when 20 or 30 points is like a good move, and just taking the quick win and being done, and it's easier to get a 20-point move than it is to wait around for a 50 or 80 points. But I haven't decided yet. I typically do better when I just hold longer. And I don't really have a good, like, I would like to add somewhere, but I don't have a good reason to at this point. Like we already hit the hourly target. We got 4 hour continuation. I want to walk away with at least something out of this trade. If I wasn't red, it would be different, but I definitely want to, work on getting that back closer to break even or in profit. But willing to give some back to see if that plays out. Still got a lot of time in this hourly candle, so but 5 minute, little 5 minute shooter triggering down. Don't stop me out. I'm gonna be so unhappy. If this is just a little corrective activity. So like here, I'm gonna push my stop up and lock in a little bit more. So if this doesn't work, I'll at least, get over a third of this red off the board. And if it does, then, that'll be great. That's what I'm hoping for. But no higher time frame setups to really, get too excited about. I mean, kind of want to see it get back over yesterday's high. but struggling to do that. I get stopped out, I think. No, yeah, no. The suspense is killing me. Really hard as a trader to be up, like 300. I don't know how much I was up on this position. See if I can, that's my stop rate. So 400 and then, give back, like stop out for 121. It's kind of painful, but we have to make decisions about how much we're willing to give back in order to, potentially make more out of the trade. And I'm not sure I've got that figured out yet. In fact, I know I don't. Like as far as this trade, I've accepted that I'm gonna make 121 at least, and I'm okay with that. Just wait for something else. It's easy to say, yeah, I should have taken the 400. I mean, you just don't know. But 20 points. The thing is, 20 points in 4 minutes here. I think I need to look at that a little more closely. Like what amount of time did it take for this setup to hit target? And I think I don't factor that into my trades. Like, if I get into a trade and it hits target in 4 minutes, I should probably just take the money and run, right? I thought we were gonna get a nice push up here. Oh, don't do it.
Order filled.
Right, stopped out. I'm okay with it. Not really what I wanted, but we gotta live with our choices. I'm fine. Really, just gonna wait for probably. I mean, there's not even. I don't even know if I'll trade again tonight until there's just no. There's just no setups on. I mean, we've got daily continuation, 12-hour continuation, 4-hour continuation, hourly hit target. How many points was that? Looking on my other screen here. 20 points. Yeah, I just want more. I just want more out of my trades. So the only way for that to happen is for me to hold positions as long as I can. But might need to adjust that a little bit. We'll see. But anyway, that's the only thing I see, guys. Other than that, probably going to be a chill night for me. I mean, it sucks because I this is the least I've traded this week in probably 6 months. And it feels weird, but I think it's a good thing. because the truth is there's not a good or great trade setup every single day. I mean, you might be able to find, something on a smaller time frame that kind of works, but as far as like a 4 hour, 12-hour daily setup, or maybe I'll look at like see what metals are doing. Copper crazy right out of the gate. Had a good day. Yeah, maybe I'll look at like metals or oil. Deanna pointed out she's been trading RBOB, which are gasoline futures, using CL, watching, charting CL. But because CL hasn't been moving a whole lot, apparently RBOB moves more. So I might put that on my list of tickers to kind of pay attention to, because you can see there's been some volatility here for sure. But she did mention last night spreads were pretty terrible, so I might keep an eye on that and look around and see if there's something else to trade here. Just because I don't like really anything else on NQ. Yeah. All right. Have a good night, guys. Appreciate you all stopping by. Good luck. Hope you traded well tonight or today or tomorrow. Manage risk. Be safe. I'll see you later.